1140, The Fan. Talkin' money.
The action continues now with Talkin' Money and Jeff Tarbell.
Right. How you doing? This thing on?
Hello. Anybody awake out there?
Usually we get 100
Where's
texts.
Colin? Is Colin listening? Somebody.
Usually get 100 texts, but we do got a couple people on the phone. We'll get to them in just a second. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Our quiz question before the break. The country of Brazil is trying to arrest one of the heads of this company. Is that right?
That is correct.
So which company is that? And if you know what he or she allegedly did, I guess we can discuss that too. But it is a Silicon Valley-based company at 339-1140 or 1-800-920-1140. Our text question is still out there. We're going to pick one of our texters today and give them some Jim Boy's tacos. My text question is this. Should the state of California put an end to the death penalty? And if so, yes or no, why? We'll take that on the text at 441140. To mention in the first break there, it's cost us about $308 million per execution since 1978. Runs about $100,000 a year more per incarcerated individual on death row, and about $200,000 more per jury selection. So there's a lot of money there. And so we'll see what your thoughts are. We'll let that go for a minute here. Let's get to John. He's been patiently holding. Hey, John, welcome to Talkin' Money. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
Good. What's happening?
Well, this isn't why I called, but if it costs $308 million to execute somebody, it sounds like there's a problem more with the process maybe than there is with the law. But the reason I was calling is because I wanted to ask you about what you were talking about. I appreciate all the detail about the disputing and the FICO and how your score works and things like that. And I ran across a situation the other day where I was told that not only would they look at my FICO score, but they also would look at my public records, they would look at my social media, and that they would look at my actual details of my banking information. You know, it's some platform that you have to opt into. So the lender kind of says, if you want to do this, you have to opt in. And if not, we can't make a loan for you. But this is the criteria they want to use. And I'm kind of like, is that legal? Is that with FCRA or whoever mandates that stuff? Is that allowed?
Yeah, this was for a mortgage application?
No, this is for an auto loan.
For an auto loan, okay. So, and I don't know, maybe my general answer is this. I guess a lender can do anything they want to do. It's like the golden rule. Those who have the gold make the rules, right? So we've always looked at credit score, public records, bankruptcy filings, collections, those kind of things, right?
Yeah, items that show up on your credit report.
Yeah, those are common. The mortgage industry for at least quite a while now has always looked at your bank statements. In fact, I don't know if it was last week or 2 weeks ago, I talked about people who go to Thunder Valley or the different casinos and they use the ATM machine at the Indian casinos. And if you don't think that's a red flag to an underwriter, it's a huge one. That if you're constantly, and I tell everybody, if you're going to get your money out, get it before you go to the casino. I mean, unless you work there and you're taking cash out, just to do things. It doesn't mean the underwriter will look at it and say, well, I'm turning John's loan down because he got out $100 at the casino once a time. But you see, generally the people who do that is a repetitive, it's $100 here and there. Now that's their fun money. I mean, I spend my money other places, at the bar, at Fats. I mean, whatever you want to do, but that's a sign to somebody. The underwriter looks at that and goes, okay, here's an individual who's right on the cusp of wanting to do this, and I haven't counted in the fact that there's $300 a month every month at the casino. No, that's their.
I mean, if his Macy's card is behind in June, 30 days, but he's got 3 withdrawals in June.
Yep.
At Thunder Valley, it doesn't take much to connect the dots, right?
Yeah. No, I have not heard of any lender using a social media platform for lending. I do know that a lot of people that are doing hiring are obviously doing that. I mean, I wouldn't get a loan if they looked at my social media and said, this guy's freaking crazy.
Well, what are they looking at is the question.
Yeah, I don't know unless they're looking at how fast you're racing your cars every week. And the reason you're buying a new car is you keep wrecking the old one. I mean, maybe, I don't know. So I haven't heard that part of it, but everything else you mentioned I have heard of. And so certainly, and where's my little
And
list
the
here?
big thing going on right now is actually deposits into your bank.
Yeah,
that are not salary based.
That's good. I'm gonna put John back on. We're gonna give John something fun there, because that brought up a good point. I've been started doing a little program, what I call Lunch and Learn, which is basically just kind of tour around of different companies or individual realtor offices or financial planner offices or whoever, people that are associated with the mortgage business, but that not in it on a day-to-day basis. And John brings up a couple of good points, that things are changing, and you're going to hear about stuff that you've never heard about before. And he's talking about an auto loan, but I just think lending in general, these are still banks that are making loans, and the industry is required. The requirements on the industry now are so great and increasing that you know who you're lending to. You make good lending decisions, and you thoroughly vet these borrowers properly. And deposits is one of those for us in the industry that is such a nuisance deal. But we look at every deposit that comes into your account, and we look into it for a couple different reasons. One of them is to see, particularly if you're getting ready to buy a house, did you go out and rapidly borrow some money from somebody? Are you withdrawing on a credit card? Are you getting money from a relative or something you might have to repay back, right? Because we don't necessarily care where the money came from as much as we just want to know, do you have to pay it back? And if so, what are the terms of paying it back? Because if paying that back is going to make you all of a sudden not qualify, that's a problem. And now the mortgage industry, much like the banking industry has for a long time, is now looking for laundered money.
Yes.
And now the mortgage industry is now required by law to report laundered money, suspicious activity. They call them a SAR report, suspicious activity. So if you're someone who's just pumping cash into your accounts, not quite $10,000 because the bank doesn't have to report it, but you're pumping cash in your banks from either legitimate or illegitimate business sources, don't be surprised that doesn't come up. They're going to ask you, hey, where'd the money come from? And you can't show where it came from. That could be an issue. So these are things that have been changing quite a bit. And that's one of them, the deposits. It's a nuisance. There's no.
Oh, it's a hassle.
Believe me, there's nothing. We don't want to ask you why there was a $150 deposit here and there, but they'll ask, and it's one of those things that they kind of flow. It's not really a rule from Fannie Mae or FHA. It's more like I think that Chase started it, and Chase started not buying loans that had deposits that were not sourced, and it's gotten ridiculous. $100 here and there, but if you have those kind of deposits, keep track of them where they are, because you're going to get asked if you're doing those sort of things. So
so if you sell something at your garage sale this weekend, $320 and you deposit it in your bank account, you might hold off until you close on your house.
Well, the one I always hear the most that seems to come back is I loaned my family member some money and they paid me back.
Right, $150.
Yeah, or more, particularly when you're trying to buy something. And I know many of those are probably BS. But if you legitimately loan somebody in your family some money, and you think you're going to be getting that money back
because you need it to close,
because you might need it, scratch out a little note. Hey, I loaned Marge $1,500 and for 90 days, and here's a copy of the check, and here's a copy of the little agreement.
Yeah.
And when the check comes back, here's a copy of the check back for the $1,500 I lent you let me. And I put it back in my account. Fine,
don't pull out cash.
Yeah,
and give it to them.
So there's a little bit of a track record there to keep track of. So you'll run into those things, and there's more and more of them coming. I think I'll talk after the break. The one that scares me the most, which is a term called QRM, which is the Qualified Residential Mortgage. There are some changes being proposed. There are already law now that haven't yet been determined what the actual law means. Kind of like the healthcare thing where they say, well, we're going to pass it and then we'll figure out what it means, which is now happening. Well, this with some of the Dodd-Frank and some of the mortgage laws have been passed. They're in place and we don't even know what they mean yet. But if they're interpreted literally, the lending in our country will come to a grinding halt. And it'll come to a grinding halt fast. And we'll talk about that, the old QRM. Still not getting much. I'm surprised we're not getting much on the text line. Everybody's text machine down today. Ours seems to be working, so I haven't got any text yet on the death penalty. I thought this would be an easy one here. We get a winner on our no. Wow. Okay. Everybody's gone skiing today,
I guess.
So off the text line here, let's go through the break here. 441140. Do you think the state of California should continue the death penalty or not? Yes or no? And this is kind of financially related to how it brings up, but you may have moral obligation or a moral objection to it, or you may have a vehement in favor of it. So we'll let that go at 441140. Yes or no? Should the state of California continue the death penalty process? It is expensive, and is it effective? Is the question. I guess we'll make that out there. Let's find a different quiz question here. We just take a break. 339-1140. 1-800-920-1140. The answer, by the way, to the Brazil one was that the state of Brazil wants to arrest the head or one of the heads of
Google.
Of Google,
yeah,
but for what?
It's for placing ads. It has to do with their November elections mayoral candidate. That there was some criticizing done on YouTube videos.
Okay.
So it had to do with YouTube videos posted criticizing mayoral candidate running for the November
So an individual
election.
posted a YouTube account and they want to arrest the head of Google.
Yes.
Okay. That's welcome to Brazil, I guess.
Yeah, welcome to Brazil. Exactly.
So we'll let that one go. So 339-1140. What's our quiz question here now?
Quiz question. So we have how are we going to word this? Which president has roughly 16,000 books already written about him?
There's another movie coming out, I think, even.
And there's a movie coming out. And why are we so smitten about this president?
So which U.S. president has over 16,000 books written about him? And a movie coming up, too. 339-1140.
Hoover.
1-800-920-1140. That's the Hoover Dam. No, it's not Hoover. Or you can text us at 441140.
Yeah, new movie coming out on him, and also 20 new books coming soon.
There you go. So 16,020. This is Talkin' Money. We're going to take a quick break. We'll get into your phone calls and your texts if you want to do that today. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. You can text us at 441140. My name is Jeff Tarbell. That's John Fodoraro, and this is Talkin' Money. We're going to be
right back.